and welcome to the Midnight Movie Review Presents. And tonight we've got two 80s summer camp slashers, and we're starting off with The Burning. And The Burning is actually quite an interesting story. Not a lot of people know this. But The Burning was produced by the Weinstein brothers. And you might wonder, why would the Weinstein brothers, these big producers, produce like this, well, can I call it a B-horror? Actually not, right? It's actually, you know, because the budget of this film was 3 times the budget of Friday the 13th, the second film, and we wouldn't call that a B-horror, would we? Well, the Weinsteins, this was actually their debut film. It was the first film they made, and they started, Miramax was the company, with this film. As a matter of fact, Harvey Weinstein wrote the screenplay for this film, and well, a lot of people think that The Burning was made because of the popularity of Friday the 13th, and thus far the 80s slasher, and especially the 80s summer camp slasher, to just cash in on that success. But that is not the case, because Harvey Weinstein, he claims to have started writing this film just before the release of Friday the 13th. Now, there are a lot of interesting elements in this film. Let's start off with Rick Wakeman. Rick Wakeman did the soundtrack for this film, and he is a very important person in the, let's say, the pop culture of the 70s, because he's worked, by that time, before he did The Burning, already with people like David Bowie, T-Rex, Mark Bolan, and Elton John. So he was way up there, and they got him for the soundtrack. Another interesting name is Tom Savini. Actually the master of gore, but that title has been given to so many people on so many occasions. Herschel Gordon Lewis got it, Lucio Fulci, godfather of gore. But let's call Tom Savini the master of gore, because after he did in 1978 the film Dawn of the Dead, he was the hottest guy around to get your special effects. Flesh and bones flying around, you had to get him, because he was very proud of the fact that he exactly knew how wounds, blood and gore would look like, because he fought in Vietnam. He was like, yeah, I know, it's the guts flying out, yeah, I saw it in Vietnam, so I just know how to do it. And, well, it paid off, because his effects are real. This is the gore we want to remember the 80s for, which was the rhymes. And he also did the gore for Friday the 13th. But his job was not only gore. When Tom Savini got on a job, he was really much into how we're going to tell this story. And a lot of kills, especially in The Burning, were made up by Tom Savini. A lot of moments of tension were made up by Tom Savini. So actually you could also kind of say that next to Tony Maylam, he was kind of like a co-director. Actually, normally would have been like the annoying actor who said like, yeah, I don't feel it, let's change it. It was Tom Savini, but when Tom Savini is that guy, it's alright. And the other thing, the most interesting thing about this film is the killer. Because we've got a killer with an enormous, how do you call it in Registratie? Anyone knows how to say it in English? Scissors. Yeah, not scissors. Yeah, scissors is, let's call it big ass scissors. Our killer got big ass scissors. And Tony Maylam was constantly dissatisfied by the way the main character was holding the scissors, because he wanted it to be like this. Very scary. And Tony Maylam, if the actor didn't do it right, he just got the scissors himself and he stood there. And most of the scenes with the killer are actually the director, because the other guy couldn't do it. With a result being the scissor scenes so hard and cruel that this film got on the nastities list in the UK. So one of the goriest films around. Enjoy The Burning. Let's check it out.
This summer, if you're planning to go camping, don't. If you're looking forward to midnight swims, don't.
Let's sneak on back to the campsite. Get some matches. Build us a hot fire. Don't be long.
And if you're thinking about being with someone where no one can see you, don't. Because this summer, a legend of terror isn't just a campfire story anymore.
They'd say he smashed his way through the bunk room door, just a mass of flames. Cried out, I will return! I will have my revenge! He lives on whatever he can catch. Right now, he's out there, watching, waiting. Who's there?
summer 5 years ago is about to happen again, and again, and again. The Burning.
Het was niet helemaal wat ik ervan had verwacht. Het was beter dan ik dat had verwacht. Ik vond het uitstel leuk, dat het heel lang duurde voordat er daadwerkelijk iets gebeurde.
Meesterwerk. Ik had hem op een kleine 4 sterren staan, maar na de herziening van vanavond wordt het wel 4,5 sterren.
Een goed punt is dat het gewoon echt een klassieker is. En ik ben wel een horrorfanaat, dus dan is het wel belangrijk om die klassiekers te kennen, denk ik.
Ik heb genoten van vooral de typische jaren 80 stijl. En de uitzonderlijke kwaliteit die die film heeft, want dit is niet echt een typische summer camp slasher. Het heeft niet echt een scream queen, het heeft geen leading man. Maar dat maakt de film juist zo bijzonder. En de soundtrack, de geweldige soundtrack van Rick Wakeman. Heel erg sterk. En de scène dat hij uit de kano opspringt, dat is een meesterwerk. Die scène tilt deze film naar hoger niveau.
We're gonna start the second film, which is Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th is often confused to be the first slasher. A lot of people think it is the first slasher. And I think it's got to do with the fact that actually Jason Voorhees is an icon with his hockey mask and his machete, might be the biggest icon of slasher and perhaps even horror cinema. But the origin of the slasher, I think it goes way back than just Friday the 13th. As a matter of fact, Friday the 13th was only made because Halloween by John Carpenter was such a success. Also, a holiday. You know, I wouldn't call Friday the 13th a holiday, but it's the same idea as Halloween, and Halloween had a mask, so a lot of people refer to Friday the 13th as wrongly as one of the first slashers. But even Halloween was inspired by another slasher, what I think is a real slasher, the real first slasher, Black Christmas. And Black Christmas, but then again its origin at Psycho by Hitchcock. And I think that Psycho is often wrongly cited as being a slasher, because when you take a close look at Psycho and actually the slasher genre, I think the origin of the slasher genre is that the slasher genre is not very much interested with the total global atmosphere of attention. It's not like a whodunit. Nobody is really interested in who did it, why did he do it. It's mainly the fact that the thrills, the kills are shocking, bloody, and perhaps even a little bit scary. And Psycho, as a story, only had like it was a whodunit, and the kills are only there because they have to protect the plot of the truth, and the people who are coming close are being slaughtered. So Psycho has laid the roots for the slasher, but was not eventually a real slasher. And now the fun thing about Friday the 13th, in my opinion, is that a lot of slashers don't have this anymore. Friday the 13th gets some energy from the fact and tension that we do not know who the killer is. We just saw The Burning, and in The Burning we clearly see that we know who the killer is. I mean, he gets like 10 or 15 minutes on screen about who he was. Halloween, the main killer is introduced. A Nightmare on Elm Street, we all know who the killer is. And I think the one refreshing thing about Friday the 13th was that we did not know who the killer is. And as a matter of fact, Jason Voorhees being the most popular icon in horror cinema, a lot of people still don't know who the killer is in this film. So, I'm going to introduce to you Friday... No, I'm not gonna... Killer is here on the front row. By the way, also the director of this film, Sean S. Cunningham, he may not have directed a lot of very interesting features, but he did produce some interesting features. Namely, he produced for Wes Craven the film The Last House on the Left. And he was a very clever producer, because for Last House on the Left they couldn't get an R rating, so he just cut off an R from another poster, put it on there. And Wes Craven is very ashamed actually of the things he's done with Sean S. Cunningham, because they also made a lot of porn together. Not with the two of them on one screen, but mainly like one directing, one producing. But and now eventually Johannes Cunningham decided to make a feature film with effects from Tom Savini. So enjoy the classic Friday the 13th. Check it out.
Hello? Who's that? Oh, hi. What are you doing out in this mess?
1, 2, 3.
We weren't doing anything, we were just messing up.
4. 5. 6.
Must be my imagination.
7.
Can I help you? Hello?
8. 9. 10. 11. 12. Friday, the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough. Friday, the 13th.
Ja, ik vond het een zeer spannende film. Van het begin tot aan het einde kost voluit spanning. Een echte klassieker. Ja, leuk. Minpuntjes, ja, het einde een beetje langdradig, typisch Hollywood. Maar gewoon, het was gewoon een lekkere wegkijkfilm. Top.
Dat was de laatste film, dat was dan Friday the 13th. Volgende keer zijn we terug met 2 films van Oerbol in de Oerbol 2.0 avond met de films Darfur en Auschwitz. Op 15 mei, inclusief een interview wat Oerbol met ons gaat geven, speciaal voor de avond. Check it out.